What happens to a society when truth itself becomes whatever those in power say it is? That's the terrifying question George Orwell explores in 1984, a novel written in 1949 that has become one of the most referenced works of fiction in modern politics and culture. Set in a bleak future version of London, the story follows Winston Smith, a low-ranking member of the ruling party, in a totalitarian state called Oceania. Let's walk through the story and the ideas behind it. The world of the book. Oceania is one of 3 superstates locked in a permanent, shifting war. The ruling party, led by a figure known only as Big Brother, controls almost every aspect of daily life. Telescreens watch and listen to citizens in their own homes. Children are trained to report their own parents for disloyalty. History is constantly rewritten to match whatever the party currently claims is true. Winston works at the Ministry of Truth, where his actual job is to alter historical records, newspapers, documents, statistics, to erase anything that contradicts the party's current version of events. The irony is central to the whole book. The Ministry of Truth exists to destroy truth. Idea 1. Control the past, control the future. One of the party's core slogans is that whoever controls the past controls the future, and whoever controls the present controls the past. By constantly editing history, the party ensures there's no reliable record to compare the present against, making it nearly impossible for citizens to recognize contradictions or broken promises. Idea 2. Newspeak and the control of language. The party is slowly replacing standard English with a new, deliberately shrinking language called newspeak. The goal isn't just simpler communication. It's the elimination of words needed to even think certain rebellious or independent thoughts in the first place. If a word for an idea doesn't exist, the party's theory goes, the idea itself becomes harder to fully form. Idea 3. Doublethink. This is one of the book's most famous concepts. The ability to hold 2 completely contradictory beliefs in your mind at the same time and accept both as true. Citizens are trained to genuinely believe the party's current claim, while simultaneously being aware, on some buried level, that it contradicts what they believed yesterday. Orwell presents this not as simple lying, but as a deeper, more disturbing form of self-deception. Idea 4. Constant surveillance reshapes behavior. The telescreens, the neighborhood spies, and the ever-present slogan, Big Brother is watching you, don't just monitor citizens. They change how people act even in private, because no one can ever be sure they're truly unobserved. Winston reflects that the real danger isn't just being caught doing something wrong. It's that the possibility of being watched trains people to control even their own facial expressions and private thoughts. Idea 5. Thought crime and the illusion of privacy. In Oceania, even a rebellious thought is treated as a crime, whether or not it's ever acted on. Winston begins secretly writing in a private diary and pursuing a forbidden relationship with a woman named Julia, both small acts of personal rebellion in a world designed to make true privacy and true intimacy almost impossible. Idea 6. The party doesn't just want obedience, it wants belief. Later in the book, Winston is captured and subjected to prolonged psychological torture by a party official named O'Brien. What makes this section so unsettling is O'Brien's explanation of the party's real goal. It isn't enough for Winston to obey out of fear. The party wants Winston to genuinely, internally believe whatever it tells him, to love Big Brother, not just fear him. Idea 7. Power for its own sake. Through O'Brien, Orwell articulates one of the book's darkest ideas, that the party doesn't pursue power as a means to some other goal, like improving society. Power itself is the goal. Control over other human beings, absolute and unquestioned, is presented as the party's entire purpose. So, what's the big takeaway from 1984? Orwell wrote the novel as a warning, not a prediction. A look at how language, surveillance, historical manipulation, and psychological pressure could be combined to erode a population's ability to think independently, resist, or even recognize the truth. Decades later, terms Orwell coined in this book, Big Brother, thought crime, doublethink, newspeak, are still used constantly in real-world political and cultural conversations, which says a lot about how enduring and how uncomfortably relevant this story has remained.